Here's my version of a copy carver that I built for guitar bodies. I combined some designs that I found online, took the best parts of various designs that I'd seen that other people had put up. Basically, the principle is the same. It uses a pin to ride on a template on the left, holds your router, in this case it's a DeWalt laminate trimmer, on the right, and operation is very smooth. You don't want to be fighting the router, the carver itself when you're working. Everything rides on bearings, on some galvanized pipe, just simple 3/4 galvanized pipe from Home Depot. You have X, Y movement and Z-axis movement provided by the fact that the bearings from the cross rail just slide sideways. Pretty easy to get that adjusted. On the side rails, there's only a pair of bearings, front and back here. It's not necessarily to keep I found to keep the carriage from lifting. The weight is enough to keep it down. The cross frame rides on the center rail, does have a third bearing at the bottom. You don't want this part of the carriage to lift or rock while you're working, for obvious reasons. The guide pin on the left is a carriage bolt, ground off flat and smooth, sanded smooth, rounded over. You don't want it carving into your template. And it's held in place by 2 nuts up and down. This allows you to do an easy adjustment. Put your router bit in the router and adjust your pin up and down until you get them at exactly the same height off of the working pieces. The tracks and track locks came from Rockler. The bearings I got from downtown McGuire Bearing in downtown Portland, and everything else came from Home Depot. Once I had all the parts, it only took me about 8 hours to put together, 8-10 hours to put together. Pretty simple stuff. The pipe in the back with the paint can is a counterweight. You throw stones in that, enough to keep the weight off of, too much weight off of the front end, but enough weight to keep it down, so you're not fighting it up and down, you're not lifting at all, you're allowing the pin to ride smoothly. Here you can see some detail of the carriage itself, the center carriage. One nice idea I saw in one guy's design, he used a bicycle spoke lock for his router axle. This enables you to adjust the angle of the router so that you can match whatever height of template you're working off of. Obviously you want that to be plumb, I would think, most of the time. So you can adjust it, lock it down, no tools required. I put this hose on it for dust collection. It's not working quite the way I want it yet. It's not getting all the chips. I've got to probably move the port a little bit closer to the bit, but that'll come. Since the frame just rests on the side rails, it's pretty easy to take apart and store as 2 pieces. The router comes out simply by loosening the hose clamps. Pretty easy to set up and take down. One tip for putting it all together, you want to make sure that your side rails are exactly parallel and in the same plane. The way I accomplished that was I screwed the rails onto the posts and then set the posts on top of the base and just used the frame, which I built first, to locate the position of the posts. Roll it to the front, screw your posts down, and then roll it to the back and adjust the pipes so that they so that the carriage rides dead center, and then screw those in. I did find it necessary to add a center post. The first time I used it, I noticed there was a small amount of sag in the pipe from the weight of the carriage, and obviously that's not good, so I added those later. So there you go. Good luck building your own.